Good evening, Woodruff Wolverine fans, and welcome to another edition of the Woodruff Wolverine Coaches Show. My name is Brad Phillips. We're live here at Tap 3, Main Street, Woodruff, South Carolina. As always, thanks again to the Tap 3 staff for hosting us each Tuesday, and it is buy one, get one flatbread night once again. So if you're out there watching, you're hungry for a flatbread, come on in and share one with us. We got a good crowd here tonight. I also have a familiar face here with me tonight as our first guest. It's a 07 graduate. I got it right. 2007 graduate of Woodruff High School, and back on campus now as the head wrestling coach, Austin Weathers. Thank you for coming in, man. Glad to have you here tonight.
I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Well, let's talk wrestling a little bit, man. You've been 3 different schools before you came to Woodruff. Is that the right count? Did I count that right? Yep. So Hannah, Blue Ridge, and Hillcrest. Yep. And landed here at Woodruff, back at home, man. Glad to have you back at home, heading up our Wolverines wrestling program. And man, just tell us a little bit about your journey. You know, from graduating in 07 to kind of where you are now, man. Give us a little insight of where you've been, what you've been doing before you got back here to Woodruff.
Yeah, I mean, left Woodruff, went to school at PC. Loved my time there. Originally was going to PC to be a lawyer and realized I just didn't like lawyers.
Wait, what? So you were going to be a lawyer and ended up being a high school wrestling coach?
I did.
I haven't heard that path before. That's pretty good.
I'd gotten all the way through, was doing pre-law. I was doing my law internship. And I mean, I don't know. The schoolwork part of it wasn't that hard. I enjoyed it, but I just didn't enjoy working with lawyers every day, which I think a lot of people can kind of. Man, I think that's kind of a popular thing in the world these days. But yeah, I had a really great conversation one night after a class with one of my English professors, Dr. Thompson. And he's kind of like a PC legend. He taught there for decades. And he's like, you're a tutor here for the athletic department. I said, yeah. He said, and whenever you talk about it, you smile. He said, you love tutoring people. You love helping them. I said, well, yeah, I guess so. And he said, well, if you don't like what you're doing, what about that? And so I changed my mind. Instead of going to law school, I went to grad school and got certified to teach. Very
cool, man. And I know over the last few years you've been able to be a part of some really successful wrestling programs. Talk a little bit about the progression of, being at a couple of different schools and kind of the progression of coaching and working with kids at the high school level in wrestling.
Oh, yeah. So basically, like with the 3 schools I'd been at before here, I was it was 2 very different jobs between the 3 schools. When I took over at Hannah, it was a rebuild. And it was my first teaching job, first coaching job. I mean, I was really, thrown into the deep end with coaching football and head wrestling coach and teaching U.S. history, the EOC course. Like, that was tough. That was a tough first job. So it was kind of a, swim or drown.
Trial by fire.
Yeah, first job. And so I learned a lot by making mistakes and learning from the mistakes I'd made in those first couple years and figuring things out. And I was lucky enough, I had a really good couple of assistant coaches, Joe Alessandrini and Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson's the head wrestling coach now at Fountain Inn High School.
Okay.
Those 2 guys were awesome to work with, and we were a good team together. We figured a lot of stuff out together. By the time I was done at Hannah, I mean, we had a really good. My last season there was really good. We 20-10, and the first year there we were like 5-20. We only had 8 kids. We ended up with 35, and won a whole bunch of matches and had a lot of fun. But at the same time, I was living in Greenville, and so an opportunity came to coach at a school a lot closer to home, at Blue Ridge, and young, beginning of your career, you're trying to figure things out. So I decided to take that. It was the same kind of deal. It was another rebuild. Mm-hmm. And I was there for 5 years and had a lot of fun there. Just because it was a group of kids that were just really hardworking kids, and even the new ones and stuff like that came out, they helped build the numbers up. They were really hardworking. They did anything I asked them to do, and we got pretty good there. And had a lot of fun. Had a state. My first individual state champ I coached was at Blue Ridge, and it was the first one they'd had since like 2006, and so that was a really fun time.
Right, yeah.
Being able to break that streak, and that kid, he's a coach now. And he texted me yesterday. He's a goofy kid. Caleb Horn, he's a really goofy kid. He texted me a selfie of him where I proposed to my wife at. He was like, at your proposal spot, and sent me a selfie.
Yeah.
And it made my day. The kid's hilarious.
Hilarious.
I don't know. He remembered that. That was like 10 years ago when I told him that.
Yeah.
He remembered it, went to it, got a selfie at it. But then from there, I was teaching world history one day. I was teaching my world history class at Blue Ridge. It was literally the Monday after the state tournament. I got a phone call from Tommy Bell, who's the AD at Hillcrest, and he's telling me that his brother was leaving Hillcrest to go to Fountain Inn. And I kind of thought to myself, like, well, it's weird that Tommy would call me to tell me this. He could have just texted me, but I was like, hey, man, that's awesome. Robbie, I know Robbie cares about that Fountain Inn program. He's going to be a great AD there. And he's like, yeah, he says that opens up a spot on the staff, and we want you to have it. And I was literally like, what? Right. It was an amazing opportunity. Yeah. They had just won 2 state titles in a row.
Right.
So that's how I got there. They called me, asked me to come there, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you guys won state title while you were there as well, right?
Won the state title over Somerville, and then the next year we wrestled for the state title again against Ashley Ridge, and we lost by 1 point.
Man,
I really don't think I've gotten over that one yet.
Man, that's right. If you've never been in a wrestling match and you just needed that 1 point or you needed 2 points, that's brutal.
And it was a point that we actually had the match won and had a point taken off the board.
No way.
Yeah. Really? Kid named Thomas Snipes. He's an All-American, 3-time state champ. He's wrestling at the Citadel now. He was a NCAA qualifier at the Citadel. He wins his match, pins his kid. So 6 points on the board for the good guys. And, it was a really loud atmosphere. Like, it was very loud in there. Mm-hmm. But I could see across the mat, and I see this coach, Ashley Ridge, jawing at him. And Thomas, instead of saying something, because we told Thomas, like, they're going to be watching you. If you say something, they're going to hit you.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything. He looked at the coach, pointed at his head, and shook his head no. And they hit him for that and took a point off the board. And so then we lost by 1.
Crazy.
The match would have ended tied 27-27, and we would have won in criteria. Right. Like we had tiebreaker criteria to win, but it took it all away. We lost by 1 point. Man, it was crushing, man.
That's the worst.
And a lot of people blame. There was a lot of other stuff that went wrong in that match. I personally don't blame Thomas at all.
Yeah.
Because there was some other stuff that went wrong. But, yeah, that one was tough. But, it is what it is at that point.
Right. Well, now you're here at Woodruff, man, and kind of putting your spin, putting your take on our Woodruff Wolverines program, which has been very successful over the years. And, being an alumni wrestler, I know there's some pride there for you being able to come back and some excitement about being able to coach here in your hometown. We talked a little bit earlier about, I know you have, maybe there's some information you can go ahead and share. I know you got the youth program that's starting up. Give everybody a little bit of information about what you have going on with our youth program.
So we've got the Wolverine Wrestling Club, which is our youth program. The insurance, actually today, the insurance paperwork got formally approved by the district and everything today. So you're looking at starting next week, being able to practice, the youth being able to practice in our high school facility, because now they're covered by insurance. And we got 2 wrestling rooms at the high school, so and they're coming in after we've cleared out anyway. So now they've got an opportunity to come in and practice. And
is that still available to sign up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll be posting stuff on we've got a Woodruff Wrestling Facebook page that we'll be posting all that stuff on, the sign up things. We posted it before, just as because you got some people. I always look at any wrestling program, whether it's the high school program or youth program, it's really 2 teams. Mm-hmm. You've got a smaller group of full-time kids, and then you've got a larger group of part-time kids. And I try to cater to both. Yeah. And so some of those full-time kids, they've already been signing up and stuff because that's all they do. That's all they do is wrestle. Well, now it's it's getting towards fall ball being done. Mm-hmm. Youth football is going to be done soon, stuff like that. We'll have sign-ups all the way through to the end of all that stuff. Okay. I'm not going to tell a youth kid they can't come out and wrestle. Yeah. I want as many of them kids to come out as possible. So yeah, we want a big net to get all those part-time kids in to add in with the full-timers. And we're looking at the way we schedule, having a blend in the schedule of, some kids, they really like traveling all over the place and wrestling all over the state, wrestling outside the state and all. And and there's a niche for that. But then the part-time, if they want to wrestle a more local schedule, we're scheduling stuff where January the 7th, for instance, our high school team's going to wrestle Broome. Yeah. Our middle school team's going to wrestle Broome the same night. And our youth team is going to wrestle Broome the same night. So the whole umbrella of Woodruff Wrestling. Awesome. And we've got 3 or 4 dates like that where everybody is traveling to the same place and we all get to wrestle together. And I think that's pretty cool, pretty special.
I like it, man. And being able to get kids in the program early, learning technique, getting reps under their belt is always going to be a benefit down the road by the time they get to you in the high school program. And this is something that you and I mentioned earlier, was the fact that there's a beginning to be a more and more faction of girls wrestling that's being integrated into the sport. As of right now, at Woodruff, the girls and the boys team is blended, right? Am I saying that right? So we have girls and boys on the same team. When state tournament gets here, girls can split out into a different bracket. But as far as the youth wrestling goes, I'm assuming it's open to boys and girls if they want to be available to wrestle. And, there's a lot of opportunities there for both boys and girls in wrestling now. June Welch is a great example of that. She did extremely well in her career here at Woodruff.
Against boys and girls.
Correct. Yes,
that was a really special moment. Yeah, when she won the boys state title.
Never been done before.
No, it was really awesome to watch. For the first girl to win a boys state title to be from Woodruff was really special.
That was epic.
That was awesome.
Man, so let's talk a little bit about rule changes. For those of you who might be watching that are familiar with wrestling and the point system, I know you were telling me earlier that this season that point changes are going to happen, which has not been the norm in the past. Give us a little bit of overview as to how that's going to work this season with point changes.
Yeah. So that's one thing. Like if you wrestled back in the day, you wrestled back when I did, back when my dad did, It's been a universal thing. When somebody gets a takedown, you shout 2. Since last year, that college changed that a couple years ago, and it was something that's trickled down to high school last year, and I think we liked it, and we've kept it. So now takedown's 3 points instead of 2, and then back points. It used to be if you got a 2, 3, or a 4 count, you're getting 2 back points. Ref counts to 5, you're getting 3 points. Well, now the ref counts twice, it's 2, 3, it's 3, 4, it's 4. And so that changes the math of a wrestling match a lot. It changes how we coach a lot. That was something last year when I was at Hillcrest. Like, we were really intentional about, like, what do we want to emphasize? What do we want to put less emphasis on, more emphasis on, considering, like, now there's a lot more points that can be scored on your feet and on top than on bottom. Used to, a reversal negated a takedown. 2 for 2. Now it doesn't. So we started coaching a lot differently, and people started wrestling a lot differently. Well, it's changed the sport.
I guess this is a little bit deeper question for that. What do you feel like there's a good reasoning to go to a new point system? Does it help? Does it help alleviate the tie situation and all that kind of stuff? Like, is there kind of a reasoning behind it?
Honestly, I think that the governing board across the country, when they decided to go to this, like I said, it was made as a college rule first, and they were trying to make college matches have more action.
Okay.
Because it had gotten to a point maybe 5-6 years ago in college where
kind of stall out a little bit.
Yeah, there was a lot of stalling, a lot of just riding on top, not trying to score points, just holding what you got. Mm-hmm. And, well, ultimately, sports are entertainment. Yeah. Look at what they've done in basketball and football. They've not been doing rule changes to benefit the defense. It's benefited offense. Well, they've done the same thing for wrestling. And I mean, I think you can thank college programs like Penn State. Like, their motto is literally score points, have fun. Score a lot of points, 3, 4. You're up by 14 points really, really quick. The match is almost over, and I mean, that's exciting to watch.
There's a point cap, right?
Yeah, you get teched at 15. You can pin a guy and get 16 points, but you can get 15 points in a duel if you tech them. And a tech, there's a mercy rule at 15.
Right.
And so, well, if you get a takedown and a 4 count and cut them, let them up, and a takedown and a 4 count, you're up 14-1. The match is almost over. And that can happen very quickly.
Right.
So, like I said, it's really changed how you coach the sport now.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's affecting a lot. But I think it was done to try to get
a little
more excitement, more action. The college level, it's kind of worked. At the high school level, it's worked a lot. There's a lot quicker matches, a lot more action. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think for us, it's made the change that they were looking for a lot more evident.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Woodruff Wolverines wrestling program at the varsity level. I know that you were saying that this month is open for practice and workouts. Mm-hmm. As far as the team goes, you guys are shut down in October. No real practice or workouts in October, and then kind of kick off the season in November.
That's right.
Give us an overview of kind of what you've seen so far. What to look forward to from the Woodruff Wolverine wrestling program this winter.
Oh yeah, we've had really good numbers out. About an even split between returners and new kids, which is really good to see. And I mean, and granted too, right now, all the numbers that are out are from kids that aren't doing another sport right now. So fall sport kids that they can't come out until their sport's over.
Mm-hmm. And Coach Sloan is hoping that you don't get any football players till December. So he's over here grinning.
Oh no, I told I was talking to one of his players. What was it, Coach Sloan? Yesterday or today? Yesterday, I told him, like, look, I don't care. I hope y'all win a state title. I don't see you until December, but I want to see you in December.
Yeah, for sure.
But yes, the fall sport kids when they come out, I mean, it'll be a full room. We'll probably be having to use both rooms.
Yeah,
which is a really good problem to have.
Right.
And so really excited about it. And the numbers we've had out for preseason, I mean, they've pretty much. I mean, these are kids that have been committed. They've been working hard. They've been there like every day. And sometimes we'll split up and do a newbie practice in one room and a returner's practice in the other. And sometimes, like today, we were together. And I think it's important to me not just for the new kids, but for the old kids too. I'm a firm believer that you become a better wrestler by coaching.
Right.
It's something I've done my whole career is you get an old guy paired up with a new guy, and the old guy's got to show the new guy what to do, and then the old guy starts having to think through the technique, and they get better at it themselves.
Right.
And so I've kind of tried to intentionally do that, splitting them up sometimes, bringing them together sometimes, so to kind of try to make that happen.
Right.
And it has, and it's been really fun to watch. And that core group of returners we have coming back, I mean, they're tough kids. They're hardworking kids. They wrestle a good, tough style. And, I think they're going to be a good core group for the new kids coming out to learn from.
Right.
And to improve around. So it's been good to watch that.
Well,
over the last month.
Give us a quick preview of the region for those folks who might be watching. As far as if you're familiar with the teams in the region, who to look out for, and what tough matchups are we going to have this year?
Well, Union's always going to be a tough match. Coach Langenfeld out of Union does a really good job. They're always going to be really athletic. Really hard-nosed. Like, they also wrestle a very in-your-face, tough style. So anytime you go and you wrestle a duel against Union, I mean, you come out, whoever wins, both teams are coming out, looking like they've been in a fight. Mm-hmm. And Coach Langfeld out there, he's always coached that way, and it's, it works. The other, again, they won the region last year. I think second in the region last year was Broome, and that's kind of an age-old thing.
Yeah, we know too much about them. Yeah,
and Woodruff and Broome wrestling each other in a region has been going on forever,
for a long time. Yeah,
I was telling you earlier, I think back to when we wrestled Broome when I was in school, and sometimes the matches don't just happen on the mat.
Uh-huh.
I remember watching my buddy Adam Gibson's grandma fight. The heavyweight match is going on the mat, and this is for the region championship.
Yeah,
my buddy's the heavyweight. He's wrestling Broome's heavyweight, and I look up, and there's a commotion in the stands, and his grandmama's fighting that kid's grandmama in the stands, and we won both those matches, so I was pretty happy as his friend to see that. But I mean, you get a bunch of Cowpens and Packlet folk and a bunch of Woodruff folk in the same building together.
Might not be good.
Things might get rowdy.
Yeah.
But they're another team that Coach Volker up there, he does a good job, and they wrestle good, and I mean they're going to be another one that we got to wrestle our best match to be able to beat them.
Well, if you're a Woodruff fan and you're out there watching tonight, I highly encourage you, if you have never been to a high school wrestling match, or if you've only been to one match or something like that, a high school wrestling match is an excitement like no other thing that you can describe in athletics.
And the best part about it, you don't have to know anything about it for it to be exciting.
You can tell who's winning. You can tell who's winning or who's going to win. But
the human brain understands a fight.
Yeah, there's been plenty of region matches and upper state matches here in this gym, which will be moving to a new gym in the next school year.
Well,
but
I don't think I'd speak out of turn saying it. One thing that Coach Morris had talked to me about, and I did a poll of the wrestlers to see if they'd be interested in it, and they voted unanimously yes. The last duel of this season will be wrestled in the new gym.
Okay,
it'll be. So I'm going to do that as senior night, and I'm also going to bring a tradition that I've learned that I think is a really great tradition, an alumni night.
Okay.
So if any alumni are listening,
get some alumni matches going. Can we work that out where you can?
That'll be maybe.
That'd be people would pay to see that.
We'd have some really good matches. We got some doggone good alumni.
Yeah.
But if any alumni are listening, January
Yeah, sure.
21st. January 21st against Chapman will be senior night, but also alumni night.
Very
And
cool.
I'm going to be inviting the alumni out. Plan to have them out, let them see the new facility, feed them, sit them right next to the mat, and tell them to get rowdy.
Very cool, man. Well, Austin, thank you so much for coming in, bud, and sharing with us about the upcoming wrestling season. We're pumped to have you back in town.
Appreciate
all
it.
staff at Woodruff Wrestling. And we're going to wish you guys the best of luck for the upcoming season. If you're out there watching, listening tonight, make sure you come and support these guys in the winter. It will be a very exciting time, I guarantee you. So come and support Woodruff Wrestling this winter. We're going to take a break for just a second, and we're going to come back with Woodruff head coach Brett Sloan. We're going to talk about our upcoming game this Friday, as well as do a little bit of a recap from this past Friday's game. So you guys stand by for just a couple minutes, and we're going to be right back. More from Tap 3 at the Woodruff Wolverine Coaches Show.
Thank you, man.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Woodruff Wolverine Coaches Show. My name is Brad Phillips. I'm here with Woodruff head coach Brett Sloan. As always, on Tuesday evening, we are here at Tap 3 Main Street, Woodruff, South Carolina, and always want to make sure we thank the awesome wait staff here, everybody back in the kitchen. Food is always great. I think Coach Sloan's already partaken of some wings.
I'm halfway through them.
Halfway through some wings?
This is
Okay.
just a break.
Nice. But thanks again, as always, to Tap 3. And it is every Tuesday is buy one, get one flatbread. If you have not had a flatbread from Tap 3, you need to come try it out.
Yep.
Come hang out with us one night and try out a flatbread.
You won't regret it.
That's right, for sure. Well, Coach, the Woodruff Wolverines are 5-0. Big win over the Chesney Eagles this past Friday. Man, it was, our guys were pretty much in control all night long. It's always a good Friday when you win the Battle of 221 in Woodruff, South Carolina, and beat the Chesney Eagles. Coach, anything stand out specifically to you from our game Friday?
I mean, I felt like it was probably our most complete game of the year. I thought, either that or the Woodmont game. So it was good to see us, continue to play well. It feels like we put, I guess 5 good halves in a row now, together.
Correct, yeah.
And strung them around. If you can't go back to the second half of the Emerald game, and when we come out and play really well for 4 quarters against Woodmont for the most part. There's always things to fix and clean up, but then we played what I felt like was 4 pretty solid quarters the other night. So just to continue to see the consistency was really fun. And hopefully we can continue to do that. I was really pleased too. I got to say I'm really pleased with how we're playing in the third quarter. Right now, just overall. I was looking at stats this week that Garrett sent me, and he breaks down the scoring by quarter over the year, over the entire season, and we're actually outscoring people 75 to 21 points in the third quarter last year, and that's something we really struggled with last year. So if you ask me what I'm most pleased with right now, it's probably that turnaround, and we continue to do that. I thought Friday night as well. We come out second half, and it was still a 2-score game if I remember, or it might have been 17 points. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was. Let's see.
I think it was 31-4. Was it
17-14? Is that right? Am I looking at it right?
Something. I don't. It might have been 27-4. I don't remember. But regardless, I told them, these are the most important 2 drives of the game right here, because talk about winning the middle 8 a lot, and we were able to come out. Had a great kickoff by Josh, pin them deep in their own territory. Yeah. 3 and out, punt, score. I think we scored within 4 or 5 plays, Right. So to be able to come out and start fast in the second half the same way, because typically we've been pretty good at starting fast, in the first quarter, but to see us continue that momentum in the third quarter was a big deal, and I was really pleased with that. We really want to focus on. We got to clean up some things there at the end of the first half. That middle 8's really important. That last drive,
right?
We had opportunity to get some points down there, and we bogged down a little bit.
Right.
So we want to improve on that. But overall, man, unbelievably proud of our guys' effort and the way they played their hearts out again. I'm really proud that opponents right now don't seem to be dictating our effort level. It has been pretty consistent for the last 5 halves of football, or 3 halves of football. So
there's an incredible mixture of different elements, different players involved in scoring touchdowns, different players involved in different types of plays. I think Barnaby had a reverse for a touchdown. That was kind of a first. We hadn't seen that before.
It's been really fun to watch, and it's something that I challenged them with weeks ago. That we're going to need everybody before this year is over with, because very rarely do you go through 10-game schedule and nobody get hurt and miss time. That's just not very common. And to see some of our guys be put in positions to have opportunities and then go out there and seize those opportunities was, that's a lot of fun, and I hope we can continue to do that. So,
well, I think Barnaby, this is his first year playing football. I believe is that if I'm not mistaken. And to see him get the ball and just blow everyone on the field.
He can really run. Like people,
he has wheels.
And we knew how fast he was. It didn't take long to figure that out. And I knew that from weight training and watching him play baseball and things like that. You watch him run the bases. You watch him play shortstop. Man, he's really, really talented, and he can really, really run. And so that didn't really surprise me. It's just been about bringing him along as far as knowing what to do within the scheme of the offense and things like that, and understanding a lot of the little ins and outs of football that, there's certain vocab, right? There's certain lingo, and sometimes you say something to him and he doesn't know it. He might kind of know what it is. He doesn't fully know what it is yet. And, and then we use a bunch of, just different words and terms for things that if you haven't been at football practice, you might not know what those things are.
Yeah.
So there's been a learning curve for him, but I think Coach Lewis and Coach Moats and Coach Pearson have done a really good job of getting him ready.
Sure.
And I think Coach Lewis has done a good job of planning things that allow him to be successful. Things that he can do. And hopefully that role grows as the season goes along and he grows more comfortable in the offense and knowing exactly what to do. But, man, he's a great competitor, unbelievable competitor. But, look, he wasn't the only one. Skylar Barker started us off with a great kick return,
Sure.
Unbelievable play by him. Broke a couple tackles. He showed off his speed, Jalen, how about Jalen Lyles coming in and just,
There's
showing
not
off
much drop. We've said it before. There's Aiden, we love you, man. But there's not a ton of drop off.
Aiden's a very good.
So.
Aiden's. We know what Aiden is. A lot of people just haven't got to see Jalen a lot yet.
Yeah.
But he's a really talented player too.
Right.
So you can't just assume because 3's in there, we're not going to run it anymore because he's
Correct.
pretty good too.
Correct.
And that's been fun to watch. But RJ Bird came in, man, had some unbelievable carries. He's a talented cat too. So
sophomore, right?
Yeah, he's a sophomore. So and then we got Jalen Robertson over there playing every snap of Mike linebacker who. Man, he wants to carry in a TD so bad he can't stand it. And we're gonna get you one, Buster, if he's watching and listening. Okay,
needs a defensive touchdown.
Yeah, we're gonna get him one because that dude's earned it for sure. But he's we're pretty blessed in the talent in the backfield right now. And very fortunate to have those guys. They're all good players. They all are a little bit different, but they're really good players and it makes things easy when your running backs can make stuff happen. That's
sure.
a lot of fun. So.
It opens up so many things.
Yes.
So many other options. Let me share a stat with you, Coach, that our Wolverine stat man sent me earlier today. So over the past 3 games, our defense has held our opponents to under 90 yards of rushing. So at Emerald, we held Emerald to 76 yards rushing. Woodmont, we held them to 59 yards rushing. Chesney was held to 85 yards of rushing. And, Coach, I don't know if we can emphasize that enough as to how much our defense has come into play this year in being able to hold opponents to under 90 yards rushing is that's an incredible feat to me in three straight games.
Well, we felt like, and we still feel like we have very good players in the box, and we really do. We got some guys like Gunner's really hard to block at the nose. It takes a double team or sometimes a triple team.
Right.
And then we made the move just to get our best players on the field. We put Jordan Hood down at the defensive line from Mike linebacker. He still works Mike linebacker in case of emergency or something, but.
Right.
We had to get Jalen Robertson on the field. We had to get Hood on the field. We knew that. Had to find a way to get Trayvon on the field. Trayvon was at rush, but I had some other guys we felt like could play that position some too. So we moved him down, and then we get Adrian Hill. Who's he's a wrestler. He's going to be an unbelievable wrestler for Coach Weathers. By the way, like that's his number one sport. But
for sure,
we get him, and he comes in and. There's times when he's just about unblockable, and as those guys are kind of gelling, and when we're able to play Trayvon now, when we're able to put Adrian and Jordan and Gunner on the D line, and then play Trayvon at our rush stand up outside backer.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good front four. And then you throw Buster and Sean Graybill, and they're at linebacker, and and Jackson McCarley. Jackson's playing really, really good football. And Jackson was our co-defensive player of the week this week, actually. And so him and Trayvon were co-defensive players of the week because they had an unbelievable effort the other night. So all those guys in the box, if we'll just keep being physical and we'll keep doing our job and be in the right gaps, like there's not a lot of people going to move those guys so if we'll just keep doing our job, keep being physical, be in the right gap, squeeze when we're supposed to squeeze, spill when we're supposed to spill, and play as a team defense, that's really good, and we got a chance to be pretty tough against the run. And look, a lot of that, and what we do, a lot of times safeties are involved in the run fits too in our quarters defense. Yeah. So timeouts and Addison Davis. I mean, Addison made an unbelievable play on that reverse the other night.
Yeah,
he just does his job. He does his job. He's where he's supposed to be, and he's got a super high football IQ. Yeah, and then he understands team defense. Yeah. And he wraps the guy up and holds on until help gets there, and that's what you want people to do, and that's what you want defenders to do. There's a time and there's a place for that on defense, and that's what he did, and it's an unbelievable play, So those guys they're playing really well right now. We're going to need them to play really well this week. Ren's got a really good rushing attack, and we're going to need them to play well if we want a chance to win the game, and they're more than capable. They just got to go do it, and they got to do what's got them there, Be the more physical, do your job, and that's what we got to do. So,
well, let's go ahead and move to our opponent for this week. We're going to be at Wren High School this Friday away game, and Coach, I sit here kind of thinking back to exactly 1 year ago. You and I were having this conversation, and Hurricane Helene came in on a Thursday night.
2 days later,
and kind of turned everything upside down for high school football in the state of South Carolina, and not taking away anything else. People were without power, without water, without food for 10 days, and in addition, I've also been following along with Isaac Wigginton. If you guys are not familiar with Isaac's story, Isaac was in a really terrible car accident. Actually, the same time.
Week. It was the Sunday before we played Wren, so it's been a year and 2 days.
Right? Yeah. So for those of you who haven't been following Isaac's story, he is at home now.
He is,
and he still has some rehab things that he's doing and all that. But I encourage you to go follow his story. I know his family is extremely thankful that for where he is in his journey right now. So I know that
I actually had the opportunity to speak to his family last year after that, and they're wonderful people, and they were unbelievably grateful for the love and support that our entire community was pouring out towards, the Wren community and them specifically, So and to Isaac. So they were wonderful people, and we wish them the best, and God bless them.
For sure, just incredibly thankful to hear his hear his story and where he is right now. But our Wolverines are going to travel over to Wren this week, Coach. We didn't get to play this game last year, obviously. Wren is a very, very good football team. Give us a little bit of insight to what we're going to see from Wren when we roll into town on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, everything for them starts with running the football. They're very physical. Probably the best offensive line we've faced this year. They're big and they're strong and they get after you. And so they got a big running back. Running back's big and strong. He's hard to get on the ground. They'll throw a number of different formations and things at you. From a formation standpoint, they're probably a lot like us. You'll see a lot of 11 personnel. And run scheme wise, you're going to see a lot of wide zone or outside zone. You're going to see counter. You'll see some inside zone. That you'll see some buck sweep from them. You'll see all those things. So, but everything starts to run in the football. They've got a really talented wideout number 0 who they line up all over the place. He'll line up in the slot. He lines up out wide. He lines up in wildcat. He does all of those things. And then defensively it starts on the line of scrimmage for them. Their D line is very good. They're talented. They're strong. They move well. Coach Freight and those guys do a really good job of slanting and moving them and sending different pressures and all of those things. So we got to handle pass pro, and we got to handle their movement up front because they're going to move the front and they're going to send people from different directions and positions and all these different things, and we got to make sure that we're communicating up front and that we handle those things. Because if not, they can cause chaos. Not just in the pass game. It can really, if somebody's slanting and moving, and you go chasing that slant and move, and you don't block your gap, in the run game, then you can be in trouble. Right. So just following our rules, making sure we're blocking the gap we're supposed to block if it's gap scheme and all of those things are going to be really important. And we've got to really handle their movement well, pick up their blitzes. We got to be able to play in space. I think that's somewhere where if we do it right, we can have success. But they're a good football team. Very, very, very good football team, and they're very, very well coached. Right. I think Coach Freight does a wonderful job. And I've got tons of respect for the job he does, So
when we've told you guys on the show the past couple of weeks that you need to show up because it's going to be a really great high school football game, this is another week that you want to earmark to make sure that you show up.
They'll have a great crowd too. Like they'll have a really good crowd.
Because historically they've had a good run of football the past few years.
Yeah.
So they're going to be loud and proud and. Once again, we didn't get to play this game last year, so this is, the first time we've played them in a while. So we definitely need your support to come support our guys over at Wren High School. And do we have any information yet about ticketing?
And all that it's available on GoFan, Wren's GoFan.
GoFan.
Yeah. Okay. Coach Moore sent some details over to me. Earlier this week that I can send you, Brad, if you want to post that. Where I don't have it right this second, but I can send it to you as soon as we're done here. Okay. If you want. I know it's easy. There is one gate that will sell tickets on site,
right?
But but it's kind of on the other side of the stadium. They recommend that people buy it via GoFan, and then you can come in on the away side over there, and so. That is the recommendation. I can send you some details on that if you'd like for me to. So
yeah, it's in today's day and age of ticketing, it's super convenient. If you haven't used the GoFan app, it's really convenient and easy. To grab your tickets ahead of time. Actually, at Woodmont, you could purchase a parking pass. I don't even know if you knew that.
I did not.
But you could purchase a parking pass at Woodmont prior to coming in the parking lot.
I didn't need one. I was on the bus, so
you would not have had a reason to know. But that was something that we had not seen at other schools before. Where you could.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's pretty cool, though.
Yep. So you could park because they're going to charge you to park one way or the other.
Yep. Sure.
Basically, so those options are available a lot of times as well. Well, Coach, just give us a couple of closing keys to the game for Friday. What do we got to do to come away with a win this Friday?
Well, I think we've got to find a way to slow down their rushing attack. And if they're able to grind the ball out and keep our offense standing on the sideline all night,
it's not going to be.
It could be a really, really, it could be a problem. Right. So I think being able to stop their run game, we can't turn the ball over because they're going to run the ball, and you're only going to get a certain number of possessions, know. So we got to make sure that we protect the football. We stop their run game. We got to get our guys out in space with an ability to make plays, And I think those are probably the 2 or 3 key things. We got to continue. Our number one rule on our plan to win is be more physical, And that's going to be a challenge because these guys are physical and they take a lot of pride in being physical. So we're going to have to match that, and like I say, stop the run, protect the football, maximize the number of possessions that you're going to get, be great on special teams again.
Try to get the ball,
try to win the field goal position. Field goal position battle is going to be important as well, Okay. So, but that's kind of it,
Nice.
So,
well, once again, I want to just say thank you to all the staff and everyone here at Tap 3 for hosting us each week. It's a really great venue. If you've never been out, please come and hang with us. Buy one, get one flatbreads every Tuesday. And we will be here again next Tuesday, same time. Totally went blank. I was going to share something else, Coach, and I totally forgot. But anyway,
don't know.
So just make plans to be there on Friday. Help support our kids at this game at Wren High School. Make sure you show up. Be loud to support our kids. And I know that this coaching staff and this team would appreciate to see you there. But as always, we're going to sign off for tonight and go Wolverines. And let's bring home number 6 on Friday. Take care, guys. We will see you again next week here on the Woodruff Wolverine Coaches Show live from Tap 3. Take care. Have a good evening.